What is going on, Wolfpack Nation? Welcome to the Tuffy Talk live show. You got myself, Leighton Smith, here with Greg the Leg. We are here, rock and rolling, ready for another one. And we got a lot to get to. Again, we got baseball to talk about, a huge walk-off series win for NC State baseball. Highlight, obviously, by the man himself, Josh Hogan. We'll talk about a little bit about him and his story here today, but talk a little bit about, what's been going on with NC State basketball, what's next for NC State basketball. Kind of start talking about this athletic year in general, even a little bit too as well, and also keep my man Greg the Leg a little bit honest here. So we'll get to that here as well.
I can't wait.
So Greg, man, dude. I mean, what a weekend, right? I mean, I'll be honest. I was not having good feelings. In my plums per Will Ferrell, about this series, but definitely, I think my line kind of summarized it, which is like, sigh, take a deep breath. We got through it, thank goodness. And now, which is funny though, because Kendall Rogers, who covers college baseball, says when it comes to teams that are just outside top 25. NC State's on that list, and watch out, which I say maybe, it just depends which weekend and which NC State baseball team you're talking about. So, I mean, initial thoughts on that, Greg?
Yeah, first off, I don't agree with Virginia Tech being in the top 25 and not us being in the top 25. Their out of conference schedule, strength of schedule is horrid. Quad 4 losses are horrid, and we took 2 or 3 from them. Now I know they've been hot of the last couple of weekends since we played them, but I have a conspiracy theory that D1 doesn't really like us at the moment because we didn't show off very well in their tournament down in Jacksonville. So I feel like they're a little mad at us that they brought us down there and we didn't perform as we probably should have. But
yeah,
it's just a stupid conspiracy theory. Don't believe me.
I like conspiracy theories.
I have my 10 hat here somewhere.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But no, to your point, great weekend at the Doak. It's funny, real quick anecdotal story. I met Ryan Marone's grandparents, and first time they ever saw him play in college. So they came down from New Jersey, and I told them, welcome to being a Wolfpack fan. And they went through all 5 stages of NC State fandom. Stage 1, cautiously optimistic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then stage 2, stage 3, oh crap.
Yeah.
Stage 4, okay. And then stage 5, yeah. So, the 5 stages. Yeah.
Yeah.
Never a doubt. That's actually stage 5. Never a doubt.
Never a doubt. Yeah. Never questioned it. Never concerned. Yeah. No, I mean, definitely it's yeah. No, I mean, definitely at the end of the day, I think that coming out of this weekend, you're not necessarily making any comments in terms of overly positive, but you're also not making anything overly negative. Not overly positive because, let's be real, definitely not the best baseball that we especially have been hoping for preseason. But at the end of the day, you can't really say too much negative because at the end of the day, we got the series win. So, I mean, I always say you can never, there's no such thing, as a bad win. There's
right.
I
mean, Virginia was a preseason top 5, maybe top 3 team coming in, and I know they haven't lived up to their expectations, but that's a really good team. Look, if they had some pitching, they would be real dangerous. And then they're very similar to us, where not as far as the pitching, but the offensive side. They don't really have a guy that's got to probably hit 15 to 20 home runs like we did last year.
Yep.
But they grind. Yeah, look, when you come back from the deficit that we were down yesterday, 6 runs late in the game, that could be the start of something. And I kind of made the comment on X yesterday that if we make a run here, this could be the weekend series that we look back to say that's what kickstarted it, much like we did with Clemson last year.
Yeah, true that. Also, too, as well, MK Sneeze already ahead of it, but make sure to any questions, comments, concerns, make sure to get them in the chat, and we will get to all of them here today. Saying, I heard some of the guys we are going for not even in the portal yet. Are we looking at guys in the baseball portal, Greg?
No, I believe that's maybe basketball.
No. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, first thing I'll say for sure is let's be real, guys. I mean, I don't know about you, Greg. Like, I am calm, cool, and collected right now when it comes to NC State basketball right now. As basketball right now, like,
Yeah, we're getting ready to hit a dead period. In fact, I don't. We may already be in the dead period. I'm not sure when that starts.
correct. I think we are in the dead period.
Yeah. So you probably won't see a whole lot of stuff happen.
Yeah.
I mean, if it does happen, those are guys that have already been, reached out to and already had some discussions. But
Yep.
look, I think right now I'm going to compare this to a nice chili or spaghetti sauce. You just let it simmer and let it cook, and it'll bring
Let it
you
cook. There you
wonderfulness.
go.
It'll just let it marinate,
Yeah.
and I think we're going to be in for some big news here in the next week or so with basketball. Look, you don't go out and do everything that you've done, spending the money, putting the money into it, and you're just going to get dudes, and there's a lot of names out there, just like MK Sneed says. I'd have no idea where this is going to end up at.
No.
I know we brought a couple of guys in, and I'm sure we'll get to those here when we talk more about it. But yeah, just let it happen. I'm gonna chill, like just hang out and let it cook.
Yeah, and we'll talk about one guy in particular I'm pretty bullish about and excited that we'll potentially get as well. That's gonna be a
I know
huge
where you're
gift
going
for
with
us.
this one.
So no, you have no idea. I
Oh, I have
promise
no
you.
idea. Okay.
You have no idea. You have no
Okay.
idea.
All right.
No.
All right.
So, but with that being said, though, I want to real quickly here. I mean, I think for this we'll spend most of the time here in our tweets of the week. So let's just jump right into it, y'all. Let's jump into some tweets of the week. So first and foremost, got to give a huge shout out again, Josh Hogue, the guy who hit the 3-run home run to walk it off for NC State on Sunday and get the series win. Per Rob McGlam here, fought his way back from a gruesome leg injury to return to the diamond for NC State this season. And Hogue, obviously has been playing the whole year for sure, but I think this has been kind of, the kicking in of the door. You've been banging at the door, like, trying to get in, and then this is just the door swinging wide open here with this moment this past weekend. So again, just huge shout out to Josh and just like you said, his family, for digging into it, and obviously I'm sure probably living a lot of emotions here this past Sunday. Again, this humongous series walk-off win, because I mean, in my opinion, Greg, I think just like you were kind of mentioning at that win, hopefully we're going to look back a month now being like, that was a moment where things could have moved really badly in opposite direction if it didn't go the way it did.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, I think part of it, first off, that's a horrible leg injury. It's the same one that I had. It's not a fun rehab, and he is much younger and much more athletic than I will ever be. And I know how much I went through to try to just get back. I mean, you literally have to learn how to walk again. And I was non-weight bearing for like 8 weeks, 9 weeks. So that's just a long injury just to get through the injury piece of it, and then the rehab and then try to get back to a D1 athlete's, athleticism status. It becomes as much mental as it is physical. I do one of the things that I remember after I had the injury, I ran into Isaiah Moore, and he kind of followed some of the stuff that I was going through, and I said, yeah, my bad leg. And one of the things I always remember that he said is like, it's not a bad leg, it's a surgery leg. And so that for me, I like, okay, it's the surgery leg, it's not the bad leg. But yeah, just everything that Hogue's gone through, and yeah, it's impressive. And he leads the lead. He's tied with the lead of home runs with 6 on the team, and he's been really clutch since about that UNCG game. From what I understand, they kind of tweaked his swing a little bit, and you're seeing a lot of great things coming from him. And he's hitting 310 and 6 home runs, and none bigger than the one yesterday, that's for sure.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Well, and one thing too, Greg, which I want to get your opinion about, but D1 Baseball came out with their midseason player rankings. Had 6 different NC State players on this list. Dominic Fridden at number 16, who has finally, I think, this season broken through, and we're starting to see that ceiling that we have been begging to see on a consistent basis for quite some time. Ryan Marone at number 43, Heath Andrews at number 99 and all those guys in terms of starting pitchers. in college baseball. And then you got Luke Nixon, number 29 for second baseman, Chris McHugh at number 45 for first baseman, then Ty Heed, the man himself, and for number 77 for the outfielders. But so,
Yeah.
what's your opinions on this, Greg? I mean, I'm sure probably for most fans, you're never going to fully agree. You're going to probably more disagree with the list than you are going to agree with it. But you might shock the world, Greg. What are your thoughts on this list?
No, I really like this. I would be curious if they came up with a freshman list for Ty Head. I think he's just been unbelievable out in center field,
Mhm.
defensively. He's got, I think, 31 or 32 walks on the season, which is crazy. They just slid him into the into the leadoff role this weekend, which I think is great. His on base percentage is through the roof. Yeah, I 77 is pretty good. Maybe
Mhm.
higher. I don't know.
Sure.
The pitchers are right where I think those numbers are good.
Sure.
They've kept us in plenty of games so far this season. Luke Nixon at 29, I don't see any problem with that. And Chris McHugh, his offense has been really good. If he was just maybe a tad better on the defensive side, he probably would be higher. But he's been solid at first. So I don't have any real heartaches with any of these numbers. I don't think any of them are over or under. I think
Hmm.
maybe Andrews at 99 might be a little low if I had to go with one.
Sure.
But Luke's been solid at second. He's really good defensively. Um, I think what they did for him with him this weekend as well, he was part of the lineup switch coming out of the one hole, and I think he was in 6th or 7th. I think batting. I want to say 7th that he was batting. I really like that move, taking a little pressure off of him, and
Yeah.
just seeing some different pitches, from the 1 versus the 7. I think that some of this is just trying to find um, kind of it relates back to Ty and Luke, just seeing different types of pitches coming in from different batting positions in the lineup. So I like what we did this weekend. Hopefully that's a thing to come. That's the one thing I will say about this team is we're still doing tinkering into April. Hopefully, we're going to settle into something and people kind of get more defined roles because you got guys all over the place just trying to figure out where they fit in the pecking order.
Yeah. No. So, I mean, the only thing for me, I mean, obviously, and Mama Smith coming here saying pitching has been amazing. I mean, it's definitely shown some positives for sure. I mean, it's still nowhere near what our preseason expectations were for this pitching. I mean, especially with relief pitching, definitely have expected more. But again, like we're in the thick of it. I mean, we're just outside per, probably Kendall and some others, right outside top 25.
Yeah.
You're right in the thick of the ACC with 2 series wins. Obviously, wish we could have got another one against Duke, but so just the hope is that eventually there's going to be a trampoline effect from one of these moments, and hopefully this weekend series, getting a walk off win in a game that was supposed to go negative and therefore take the series away. But I mean, we came back and showed some real guts and took the series probably out of the hands of UVA. I mean,
Oh, for sure.
hopefully this is the game that we start to see that trampoline effect take place. So
Yeah, I mean, like I told you, in our text messages yesterday, there's a reason they give you 27 outs. That's the beauty of baseball. It's not a timed
mhm.
event, so it's not like when the clock hits 0, the game is over. It's when you get to 27 outs, and
Yep.
we hung around at 26 outs, and we scored 3 runs when we had 26 outs to win a game, and
Yep.
um, just that whole, you get the first 2 guys swinging, so, you have no one on, and then the hero from the 7th inning, Lamphere, comes up and just grinds a single, and then, Ty comes up and, like I said, gets another walk, and then, sets the stage for Hoagie to do his thing, and man, I mean, they say football is a game of inches, but that was a game of inches yesterday. Like, that guy didn't miss the ball by much. I mean, maybe
No.
if he times his jump just a tad later, he probably maybe comes up with that, but whoo,
Yep.
we'll take it.
What I mean, in Josh Hoge's home run, I mean, it wasn't a no doubter. I mean,
No.
it just got over, So, and I mean, the outfielder was right there, so
Yeah.
it's kind of crazy. But that one moment was the series.
Yeah.
If that outfielder was somehow snagged that, then UVA
Yeah.
would have snuck out alive. So, but
Yeah.
uh, I mean, but good point though, also by Mama Smith in terms of talking about the ECU game tomorrow in Greenville, North Carolina.
Yep, the
Definitely,
World Series.
I know. Yeah, exactly. The ECU World Series starts tomorrow for ECU, but I mean, like, because this is a game that if I'm NC State fan, I'm not very confident at all that that we will win. Not necessarily that we can win, but we will win just because, first of all, again, we just always for some reason struggle with midweek games, especially for a game like that on the road. But just like you said, though, just like we were talking about, like this, in my opinion, is going to be kind of a litmus test of if the trampoline effect is taking place or not.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily saying that a win against ECU in Greenville is like break the doors open kind of win, but again, ECU is a really good baseball program, and especially playing on the road like that, it's a tough environment for sure. ECU is going to show up for that game. The fans are going to show up for that game. So, I think that this is going to be a maturity game. Only in my opinion, mature baseball teams can go on the road like that in a rivalry game like that and pull out a win. So, to me, this is going to be a great litmus test in terms of has the trampoline effect taken place or not.
Yeah. I'm genuinely curious as to who will be the starting pitcher tomorrow.
Same.
Maybe I don't know, because like they've had different guys start.
Yep.
Wouldn't it be something if Duden comes out there and starts tomorrow like he did against
That
Campbell?
was honestly my first thought.
I wouldn't be mad at that. He got the ninth yesterday and was really good.
Yep.
He's been really solid over the last month and week or so.
Yep.
He started with the ERA near 20 a couple weeks ago, and he's down to 4.85, which again seems like a lot, but when you look at his early numbers, but he's been so good. His whip is at 169, which is really good.
Yep.
So yeah, I is it Coop? You've seen some guys.
Jackson Lucas?
Yeah, he hasn't really started.
Yeah.
Shaft threw a lot of innings last week and then, threw some on Saturday. So I don't know if he's necessarily a candidate. But
Yep.
yeah, I'm interested to see, what we want to do as far as how important is this game to us. Now, obviously, all games are important, but like, do you really want to go out and make a statement on a midweek game? Like to your point, where we've struggled a little bit here and there.
Yep. So again, tomorrow night, 6 p.m. In Greenville, North Carolina versus ECU. So game will be on ESPN Plus. So again, just stay tuned.
How's the weather looking? Because I know we're having a lot of weather up here. Is it?
Yeah, and so that's honestly one thing to keep in mind. The weather is definitely very rough for tomorrow evening for sure. So we'll see what happens actually with that game. But I mean, hey, if we can, let's play ball and let's see what happens. So, but either way, you got a series coming up here this weekend against Louisville at the Doak, 6 p.m. on Friday night, 3 p.m. on Saturday afternoon, and then 1 p.m. on Sunday afternoon. So, again, I mean, it's so funny because with the ACC, you can almost say with almost every single team, it's like, some teams you've seen some of the best baseball in the country. Some of these teams, like a Louisville, you've seen some potential, but at any moment there could be a lot more for sure. So I think that with this Louisville team, it's kind of a little bit of the same thing with the UVA, in my opinion, in terms of how I look at it, where it's like, hey, listen, this is a series which at the end of the season could be looked at as a much better series win than it might look right now.
Yeah,
that's kind of where my head's at with this game, with this series.
Yeah, I mean, you have Louisville at 14 in the country for the latest D1 baseball rankings. So, you have a series with them. You still have a series coming up with Clemson, which is up to number 4 in the country. And then you still have a series at North Carolina, which is number 16 in the country. And it looks it's very similar to the back half of our, again, to your point, like ACC is really good. So it feels like almost every weekend you're playing a ranked opponent. But we made our damage on the second half of the season last year. And, we took a bunch of series against teams like Clemson, Florida State, North Carolina, Wake Forest. I might be missing one more, but, you get the point there where it was very, very ranked heavy on the back end. And so right now we're, just outside of the top 25, but you can make a jump really quick into the top 15 by winning some series against these teams.
Absolutely. So, so again, just take it one game at a time. If the Mother Nature decides that NC State baseball will play tomorrow, then hey, let's see what we got against ECU.
Hey,
And
where's
if
he
we,
ranked? I'm just curious.
I
Oh,
don't
they're
think they
not.
are ranked
That's
there.
right. Yeah, they talk all that junk. So
Uh-huh.
anyway,
And that coach of theirs who
Cliffy,
is
Cliffy.
just such a great coach, and he went on to do to bigger and better things, right? Oh, wait, nope,
No,
he's still at ECU. Oh,
yeah,
wait,
yeah.
darn. So anywho, but Greg, I gotta, but just like I said at the beginning, man, I gotta keep you honest though, man. There was one thing that I was, just puzzled me a little bit. So I just wanted to bring it up to your attention. But Greg,
Mm.
I always thought you were a company man. I always figured that you support those who support you, man, and especially out in the environment, man, where we can get some more listeners, some more viewers, man. Do a little advertising for us, man. I'm like, where's the Tuffy Talk,
That's
man? Where is
that's
it?
fair. That's fair. I love my gear. I love State Authentic Field gear. So
Uh,
we are having a bag made that's gonna have Tuffy Talk on it. One of the
oh,
ladies that makes bags for moms is making a bag for Kristen, and it's gonna, instead of Kristen's name and number, because obviously we don't have a kid on the team, it's
yep.
just gonna say Tuffy Talk on it. So we will have a Tuffy Talk bag at the games
Ooh,
here soon.
that's
And
big.
you know what I need to do? I need to get Mrs. Fritten to wear, like, she has a Tuffy Talk hat. She needs to start wearing that. Maybe that's what she needs to wear on Friday nights to bring Dom a little extra luck.
I love
So
it.
I
Let's
will have that
go.
conversation with her.
Hey, you just need to wear it for that for his next game, and then
Yeah,
you gotta say, all right, well now you gotta wear it
that's
every
right.
single
Well,
game until
it's
he
funny.
loses.
It's funny. She came, I guess, I think for about 3 weeks in a row, she came to wearing the same outfit because she had worn that right from work. And so I think he got the loss at Duke, and so she changed. And I think he ended up getting the loss on Friday, which
Dang it.
if we can talk about the Friday game for a second, I thought he threw
Yeah,
really well.
he did.
I thought they just left him in too
Underrated.
long. Yeah,
Yeah,
they just left him in too long, and
yeah.
threw 116 pitches, and they, I guess it was the 6th inning. They think they finally pulled him. Hold on,
Mhm.
I actually have it here.
Yeah, he threw like
Um,
115
yeah, it was
pitches.
116 pitches, 5 2/3. So he was in this. It was into the 6th, and
Yeah.
he was just on fumes. And they didn't have anybody ready. And
Mm,
the third time through the lineup, which is always tough. And he had a couple ticks off his pitches, and
yep.
it was just a recipe for disaster. And I don't blame that on Dom at all on Friday. I thought, like I said, I thought he pitched really well. And
So what you're saying is it's all the coaching's fault.
I mean, look. Okay, so if you want to put blame on Avent on Friday, which or whatever, you got to give Avent credit for yesterday because he pulled all the right strings with the pitching, with the hitting. He put Lamphere in the 7th for the grand slam, and without that grand slam, we don't make a ninth inning comeback.
Mhm.
He put a couple of pinch hitters in the ninth, pinch runners. In
Yeah.
fact, I was talking with Schaff after the game, and he was like he was going to be a pinch runner had Lions gotten on. So it literally was an all hands victory yesterday.
Yeah.
So as much as if when you want to criticize Avent, you got to give him credit, just like we do with all the other coaches. If we think that they made a move that maybe should have been made at a different point, but he did it yesterday. In fact, he was even coaching first base, so he
Yeah.
had a hand in it. I don't know if anyone saw the photo of him jumping for joy on
Mhm.
Twitter, but he had some airtime. I know he's friends with DT, and maybe DT gave him David Thompson, that is,
Yeah.
gave him some pointers on getting up in the air. But yeah, it was exciting.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, with that being said, y'all, Greg, any final comments here, man, about baseball, man, before we move on to, uh,
Yeah,
some Mississippi basketball?
just a couple of bullets that I wrote here.
Go for it.
Another big win, another big weekend for Justin DeCrisio. He had 2 more home runs. He's tied with the lead on the team at 6. Again, like I said earlier, Avent just moving the order around to kind of taking some pressure off. You even saw Sosa drop down in the lineup yesterday.
Yeah.
So just trying to get guys comfortable. I thought that was a big thing. Another thing that I had made a note here, the catch in the 9th with Woodson. If he doesn't catch that, they probably score at least 1 or 2 more.
Heck
Comeback
yeah.
probably doesn't happen there. So that's a really big one. Finally
Mhm.
won an ACC game on Sunday. That's a big one.
That's
We
true.
we hadn't won an ACC game to this point on Sunday, which really sucks because like Marone's pitched good. Like,
Yeah.
he's just, hasn't figured out in some of these decisions, and thankfully they got him off the hook yesterday with Duden getting his first win of the season.
Finally.
Yeah, first true walk off. We had 7 last year. I know we had a couple walk offs and 10-run rules. I don't really count those, but this was the first true walk off of the season. UVA had won 4 coming into the series in a row, made that 5 on Friday. So to kind of stop their momentum, I thought that was huge. And then the other thing is, we were staring down 6-6 in the conference, and now we're 7-5. So big difference there. I know when these ACC games kind of count double in the standings, and then just moved ourselves 3-1 in ACC play, and I think that's huge, right? Just stacking those ACC series wins. That looks good when you're looking at resumes for NCAA tournament time. So, yep, those are just some of the bullets that I had made for the weekend.
So the one question which I'll ask to maybe wrap it up here as well is that, sitting here, Greg, do you feel like, we obviously had a lot of conversations before the season about, this NC State baseball team and, the potential that it has. Do you feel like at this point that we've seen enough and that we're far enough in the season where any of those expectations in terms of the potential ceiling this team could have is still achievable? Or do you say, all right, there's definitely a little bit more concerns there than I originally had, that maybe we need to kind of come to realization a little bit, just a little bit. Like, not to say like, oh my gosh, like, we're in the middle of the pack, like, it's over, just being like, okay, maybe not as bullish as we were maybe previously.
Yeah. Well, I'm not Kinsey bullish, because we know Kins is always like natty or nothing.
That's right.
So I wouldn't say that.
Sure.
You're starting to see pitching kind of, again, some of these roles are getting carved out a little bit. You're starting to see some consistency from guys.
Yep.
Still have a head scratcher on a few. Not really sure their roles, or what's going on with anything that you're not seeing that you saw from them last year. But again, you don't just lose like these skills, and so
Right.
I think there's still time to kind of figure them out. Maybe get them some work in the midweeks just to kind of get some confidence. Where I don't think you're trying to experiment that much in ACC play, but if you can get some guys grooving in the midweek, so then maybe get a carryover effect in the weekends.
Yep.
Hitting is still the thing for me. You don't have a lot of power. That you do have 3 guys at 6 home runs, but I think the leader of this team is going to maybe hit 15 home runs, but you might get like 3 or 4 guys in double digits. So that's a little bit different than last year.
Sure.
The average is still a thing for some guys. Okay, you would like to see their averages up a little bit. Just timely hitting. We left a lot of guys on base over the weekend. Look, if it wasn't for 3 home runs yesterday, we don't win. You hit a grand slam, a 3-run shot, and a 2-run shot. You can't count on that every game for that to happen. So you need to string along some more hits. Defense is still pretty good. Still kind of confused about third. The DH position, I'm still like, okay, like who really takes over that? Because you've seen a bunch of guys in and out.
Yeah.
But so I say all of that. That's a lot I just said. I still think that this team is a tournament team. Fringe host. Again, some things. Again, like I said earlier, we play a lot of ranked teams, and if you start getting 2 wins, 3 wins in those series, you can shoot up really quickly. And again, as long as you're taking care of business with the other games as well. This team can definitely go on a run. You just got to be more. I think if you ask me if I was more concerned with the pitching or hitting, I would say hitting, and it's the consistency in hitting, right? Just getting those timely hits, because like I said, we left a lot of guys on Friday, and we only had 6 hits yesterday. We scored 9 runs, but we only had 6 hits, and we were 1 hit through like 7 innings until we got that rally going. And so we just need to get guys hitting. That's really what it boils down to for me.
That's fair. Yep, and I think Benjamin's completely on board with that, man. So you're preaching good stuff there, bro. So with that being said, Greg, I mentioned towards the beginning that there's one guy in particular when it comes in state basketball that I'm pretty bullish about. I'm pretty excited about in terms of going to be wearing the red and white here. Well, that's already been announced. That's already a thing. But I'm talking somebody that isn't
not on the roster.
That is not on the roster. It hasn't announced yet. That I'm like, man, this guy is going to be coming, and it is going to be crazy big. So you ready for it?
I'm strapped in.
Ian Jackson, baby, let's go.
Did it happen?
No.
No, you're just saying this guy. I don't. So
I saw this and
is
I
this the
was
guy? Is
like,
this the guy that's leaving Carolina?
yes.
Okay, all right. I don't follow Carolina. I don't give a damn about Carolina. I don't know their names.
Yep. Nope. Ian Jackson, the
Wouldn't that be something?
former freshman guard, announced that he's foregoing the NBA draft, but he is going into the transfer portal. Now, with that being said, just because you get put in the transfer portal doesn't mean that you can't return to the team. But more than, I mean, we'll see. Again, this isn't Ram talk. I get it, but definitely from everything that's been said, he's going to command a lot of money. And unfortunately, he was insanely inconsistent last year. Had some huge bright spots, 30+ point games, but he also had some where he went over. So, but seeing that though, say again.
That's a freshman. Freshmen are going to do those things
For sure. So,
I mean, look at Paul McNeil had some similar, but again, I think some of Paul McNeil's was just not getting enough run, enough play.
Well, I was gonna say, I think Paul McNeil was more coaching than it was really Paul McNeil, in my opinion. So
he was underutilized,
and we can say that now because
right?
Because the former staff is gone. We can be real now and say that Keats did not use him properly whatsoever, no doubt about it, and nobody's gonna argue on that. So. But yeah, I mean, and I want to show you this too. Actually, I should have had this ready to go, but I thought this was very, very funny. But if you, in case you're interested, Greg, if you want to see the current men's basketball roster for next season,
what do we got? Like 4? Actually, we added a couple more. I think we have enough to actually play a game now.
Yeah. Well, so here's at least what the roster looks like right now per Wolfpack.
Yeah.
4 guys.
So
Paul McNeil, Trey Parker, Jordan Snell, and Ismail Diouf. Like,
well, no, so this isn't even accurate though, because.
Well, yeah. Now, I mean,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, he's in the portal, but I mean, he is definitely the definition of you're in the portal, but you're not out of it. It's kind of testing the waters, seeing what seeing what comes at you, seeing what value you have.
No, I get it.
But he's a potential. But either way,
the other guys that are in the portal aren't showing on the roster. So that's my
correct.
Point.
Yeah. But I'm just saying though, it's just like, here's my thing, Greg, is that like if you wanted to take like a picture to summarize the current state of college sports, like here it is. Like just frame this right here. Like it's just crazy to see that. Literally, we have a basketball roster right now that has 4 guys on it. Now, again, I get it. Yeah, I know. Yes, that's not accurate as of now, but again, I mean, just the fact that this is out there, like that's crazy. So it's just but though, I mean, look at this though. You see this there on the right side though, Will Wade head coach. So like to see that. But yeah, no, I just saw that I just looked up the kicks and giggles and I saw that, I busted out laughing. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. See 4 guys listed on a men's basketball roster on the Wolfpack website. So but yeah, I mean, let's jump right into it though. I mean, I think that for a lot of NC State fans, they've been patiently waiting. I think honestly, that's been the whole men's basketball process ever since the news came out that Keats got let go, was patience. Because I mean, obviously, it took a while for the Will Wade thing to take its course, and then it took a while to really start to see some of the progress that we've been looking for in terms of a men's basketball roster. And that finally went through with a 5-star guard, Matthew Abel, committing to NC State, who is a top 30 recruit in the country, and he'll be playing for NC State this upcoming season. And here's my thing, man. I mean, like, basically an interview came out today where Abel said that literally from day one that Will Wade signed with NC State, that Will Wade and Abel were in talks, that he was recruiting him from literally day one. And so to me, that was a huge thing, just because of the fact that, like, that's a piece to show that, I mean, this guy, that Will Wade, is that committed from day one, that he was already reaching out. Like, he wasn't swinging for like solid pieces. He was like, I'm going to get the best players I can get, and that includes a top 30 recruit in the country, the number 6 overall shooting guard in the entire country. A guy that was formerly committed to Miami.
Wait. Somebody that shoots? Could he
I
hit
know.
threes?
Yeah, no, Greg. I don't know if you know this anymore. I don't know if you know this, but we don't play in the '80s anymore where
That's
there's not
right.
a 3-point line. We actually play in basketball now where there's a 3-point line.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
crazy stuff, man. I
Yeah.
know. So,
You know what I call
uh,
this? Like, this get? Like,
yeah.
for me, this is willing and able.
Hey,
So bad.
look at you.
So
Look
bad.
at you, Greg.
It's so bad.
That's why we pay you the big bucks,
Yeah.
man. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it.
No, I'm excited. Like we already like shot up the recruiting rankings,
Mhm.
like when was the last time you saw again, still moving pieces, but
Sure.
NC State sitting third in the ACC in recruiting and I think number 12 nationally. Like
Mhm.
the last time we got a 5-star was Dennis Smith Jr.
Mhm.
Like things are already happening.
Yeah.
Um, it's just it's just it's refreshing, I guess would be the word to use here.
Well, and again, the fact that yes, I mean, like NC State fans are overall are pretty excited about it, but it's not
Yeah.
like we're losing our minds. It's like, yeah, no, that's I
Yeah.
mean, like there is a swagger for sure. Now, I mean, again, and I think that for NC State fans, it's it doesn't come out of pride or anything like that. It's literally like, hey, listen, like you asked us to put up or shut up,
Mhm.
we put up. And
Yep.
so now we're seeing the results of us putting up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's not like, oh my gosh, we are so lucky. Like, thank you, Will Wade, for doing this. Like, no, like
Right.
this wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for NC State fans as well. So, in terms from an NIL support perspective, like, let's
Yeah.
be real here. So,
Yeah.
that's so I mean, I got to give NC State fans all the props
Yeah.
saying, I mean, hey, listen, what you're seeing here is not just because Will Wade is a phenomenal recruiter, which he is. It's also
Mhm.
too because NC State fans put together what we needed to in order to help Will Wade get the job
Yep.
done and get a guy like a Matthew Babel, who's a top
Mm.
30 recruit in the country. So,
Agreed. Agreed.
so
Yeah, it's there's a new sheriff in town and
mhm.
there's a new way of doing business and I'm like you said, like even the process has been kind of slow bringing guys in, but you don't see the panic again, I think there's that honeymoon period that we're having right now with Will Wade, so he's
Yep.
definitely getting some grace and being allowed to figure things out and work through it. So I just hope that the fan base maintains that level of level-headedness, if you will, because
Yep.
that's what we need. We need people just to be on board, stay on board. I think just let it play through, and then once all the pieces have fallen into place, then you can start to kind of form your opinions on how this is going to look and feel. But right now it's we brought in 2 McNeese State guys. There's a third one that just went into the portal. I don't know if there'll be any interest there.
Probably not.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Just because we have a lot of guards at this point,
Yeah.
we're going to start focusing on the front court. I'm sure
Stretch
with
guys.
forwards and stretch. We need to stretch 4 right now, and then
Mhm.
we need
Maybe a
a
true
true
point
full.
guard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true
true
point
point
guard.
guard.
Yeah, yeah. So some of these guys, we don't know what they're going to project right now until you bring other guys in. You're like, what's the rotation going to look like? And yeah. Oh, sorry, I'm going to pop my zoom in and see what you got there.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, real quick, this is
Yep.
for from Pack Tracker
Yep.
here, who put together this table here talking about all the current players that are committed to and are currently on the roster for NC State basketball for next year. They include 6 guys. So Greg, that is our current count. We have
Yep.
6 players currently
Mhm.
as a part of the team for next year. So yes, you are correct. We have
A full
enough
roster.
guys for
Well, not
a
a full
full
roster.
roster.
We have
Woo!
we can put guys on the court. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. So with that being said, I mean, like, here's the thing: is that I love having Quadir Copeland as a role player
Oh,
guy.
you love
Like,
them now, huh?
I know, right? I know, dude. I'm telling you, man.
So
I'm
weird.
telling you, man. I
Yeah.
still have that video just playing in my head, man, of him
Yeah.
taunting NC State, man.
Yep.
But I'm also listen. I mean, it's let's put it this way: like for any hockey fans out there, it's like Brad Marchand. Like he's a guy like you
Tom
hate.
Wilson.
Yeah, you like you hate it playing
Yep.
against them, but if they're on your team, you love them. And so same thing with Copen. I'm sitting here like, listen, like couldn't stand to play against him, but then that dude is skill. He plays aggressively. He's got size. He can be effective on both sides of the court, defensively and offense. So he's a great piece. And from everything you're hearing, it's he's here as a role player, not as a starter. And so love it. So I mean, of this list so far, Greg, which guy would you say you're most excited about on this list? Which, I mean, it's not very many options, but
I'm intrigued by Breed. He's the guy that was at Providence before he went to McNeese State. Didn't play last year due to a knee injury. So you've seen him kind of play at the P4 level, and he was pretty effective. Big East basketball is pretty good and pretty solid. So I'm definitely curious to what he's going to be able to do and bring, especially coming off that knee injury. Like, hopefully he's going to be fully healthy and, no effects from everything that he went through. I'm not putting a lot of stock into Wilkins and Abel right now just because they're freshmen. I don't know, if they're going to be, ready. And just because you have a 5-star doesn't mean you're going to be a 5-star ready, day one going forward. So I don't really put a lot into that. So that's half the team right there, right? So, maybe McNeil, Paul McNeil Jr. Trey Parker was just so inconsistent. But again, this is a completely different style of basketball. It's going to be, not completely different. There's some similarities between what Wade runs and what Keats ran, but
which was DJ Burns. Please save me. But yes, go ahead.
Yeah, but there's some similarities, but I think there's. Again, I don't want to feel like this is a dig on Keats, but I feel like these offenses and defense are more complete, and I think you're going to see more of an evolution of what Keats ran. So it's really hard to tell, right? Especially the two holdovers, how that's going to play. And now, obviously, you saw Copeland and Breed play in this system, and Breed played a little bit the year before. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to play.
Well, here's my thing too, Greg, and this is honestly the biggest thing I'm most excited about is, listen, instead of taking all these shots on like 13 guys and just trying to see if you can win the lottery again and get another DJ Burns and DJ Horn, like, get 8-9 guys that you are like, these guys are going to be like,
they're my dogs.
Like, I'm ride or die. Like, we're going to roll through and we're going to play through with these guys. And then you have 5 or 6 guys, which are like your developmental guys, like maybe like a Doof, maybe like a Wilkins, guys that you're trying to develop into being, our next, star big man,
the next level. Yeah.
Next level. Exactly. Being role player guys. And so that's honestly the biggest thing I'm most excited about, especially too, as well, is that listen, like we got to, and that's honestly the biggest thing, which I loved the most from Will Wade's press conference, which was him saying, we got to use our funds. What was the word? Efficiently.
Yeah.
Like we can't just throw money at people and just say, hey, I'm going to give you some money and let's see how it goes. Like, no, like then I'm going to try and make a deal with you to the point where I'm actually, it's a little bit, it's business, like at the end of the day, like I'd rather buy low and sell high. Not necessarily saying like I'm buying you when you're bad, but just saying I'd rather buy you for less than what you're actually probably going to be worth at the end of the season. You know, like at the end of the day, like that's the biggest thing, which I think like a lot of coaches still don't really have their head around, is that NIL, in my opinion, from a fan's perspective, it's got to be focused as an ROI thing. It's got to be like, listen, I want to pay $100,000 for you, but then at the end of the day, you be, worth so much more than that at the end of the season to me, like well worth it. So for me, like looking at Paul McNeil, I'm super excited about off season with Will Wade and the staff, letting him develop with them and be more of a focal point, not a focal point in terms of a starter, but a focal point in terms of, 10 to 15 minutes a night, at the very least, depending on how things go, like a solid role player piece, and let's see what you got in him. And then, hey, if he impressed you enough to be a starter, then hey, I'm not gonna complain against it whatsoever. So, but we still got a lot of work to do for sure in terms of building this roster here.
Yeah,
I mean, but big man is huge. Could not say more.
Yeah, but pulling up Michelle's comment here, she's spot on with is part of that building that roster is not only the athletes on the court, but it's the ones that are going to be coaching them up and doing all the work behind the scenes. And we announced a few things. Obviously, Slater has been announced as the general manager, but he does have a assistant coach tag on his name, so he can go out and talk to people and do what he does. Because with his scouting background, I'm sure he likes to be out on the road and looking these guys in person.
Absolutely.
But the one that jumps off me, which is really interesting, is the Patrick Stacey being named as the assistant general manager. I don't know if you have anything for that, but
I don't. But
that's okay. Yeah, so he's coming to us from Wyoming, and you're like, well, Wyoming basketball, like that doesn't feel like it moves the needle.
Woo!
But again, he's got a background in scouting, and then he was recently named the top 40 under 40 in the basketball world, which is pretty impressive. But there's a couple of
huge analytical guy,
and that's where I was getting ready to go. Yeah, he was actually the analytical manager for Chicago Loyola during their 2018 run to the Final Four. So that's that's impressive. And he even spent some time as a baseball operations associate for the Chicago White Sox, which is kind of interesting. So, you've seen some of those crossovers with guys, in baseball and going to other sports as well. Like there was a guy that went from football to baseball, and so just seeing all the different pieces. And so I'm excited to see how the staff plays out and how much they're going to be able to do. Year one's going to be year one, but I'm really curious to see the year 1 to year 2 jump. Not to fast forward so far into this, but I'm definitely curious as this staff and everyone's together for multiple years. What do we end up building out of this thing? And so this year is important for the foundation. And if you go out and have a great first year, start getting some eyes on the program, not only because we've already got it from a national perspective by just bringing Wade in. And so now if you can kind of get some of that national recognition, you can definitely build this thing probably pretty quickly. And the ACC is still up for grabs. Duke just made a Final Four run, but so other than Duke, 2, 3, 4, you could easily get a double bye in this league if you play this out right. So I can't wait for it to figure out and just we can finally get our grip back on the ACC like we have in years past.
Yeah. Now, I want to bring up this one clip, Greg, which I don't know if you happen to see, but a video of Will Wade and Andrew Slater, the exact guy you're talking about, roaming the streets of San Antonio during the Final Four period. I mean, and here's the thing, man. Dude, like, I love him walking around down there, man. I mean, like, yes, we could talk about his build and all that, like, which I know everybody is talking about.
I don't have anything to say about that, but he's just like a regular dude just walking. Like if you didn't know basketball, you'd be like, okay, it's just a dude with an NC State shirt walking around,
right? No, you wouldn't think, oh, this is a guy that's being talked about at a national level for basketball right now, but it is. But I mean, here's the thing, though. I mean, besides, the frumpiness and the look and whatever, like, listen, it excites me that he's, he's got to be sitting down there in San Antonio being like, dadgummit, I want to get here ASAP, man. Like, that has to be, get him foaming at the mouth a little bit, man. Like, so I love it, dude. I mean, do you know what he's there for? I mean, I guess you can make thoughts for sure.
Well, they had the one kid from McNeese State was in the slam dunk competition, and so I know they were supporting some of that. And there's always conferences going on for coaches. So, those are the type of things. Think about it as kind of like the winter meetings for baseball or whatever. Like there's always things happening where speeches and all that good stuff.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, I did find it interesting too, Greg. One, if we could do 2 quick pokes at the school in blue down there. I do want to point out
which one. There's 2 of schools in blue.
Well, the one that we care about the most, Greg.
Okay. We'll care about the most, but care about the least.
Well, exactly. Yeah. No, exactly. The one that 90%, and again, I still don't understand the state fans that hate Duke more than they do Carolina. But hey, you do you. Is that man, so many UNC fans, Greg, just love to poke at the fact that the last school between between Duke and Carolina, that Carolina was the last school to compete in a national championship game, and like just rubbing it all over Duke.
And then lose that one.
Well, and it was a enormous comeback by Kansas. Like Carolina blew that game.
Yeah,
blew it.
Kind of like Duke did the other night.
Right. So I mean, I'm just sitting here saying, like, like, okay, like, but are you really gonna stand? Are you really gonna stand on that mountain of the 2002 national championship loss? Embarrassing comeback loss. Like, yeah, Duke completely blew that game, no doubt about it. Completely blew it. Like, probably one of the biggest comebacks in the history of March Madness. Probably. And
well, actually, no, I just saw a clip where Houston came back from the biggest. They were down 14, and so that was the biggest deficit to ever come back from to win a game. So 14 is the new. I just happened to see like a reel as they were walking in the locker room.
Gotcha.
Because Calvin Sampson even joked, as like he was like, thank God it wasn't 17. But yeah, so that was the number. But to your point, it's still valid. Like, it was probably it was definitely double digits, and that's still a major thing to come back from.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I mean, I don't know, like, it's just to me, it's like again, the UNC people, what was it? There's one UNC podcast I was poking at NC State, being like, man, how embarrassing is it that they went to the Final Four last year, and this year, they're not making it to this ACC tournament. It's like, listen, man, that is apples and oranges. That is nothing compared to UNC being number 1 overall preseason and not making the NCAA tournament. It's not even close. You cannot convince me otherwise. I don't care. Is it embarrassing for NC State? Sure. But is it embarrassing as bringing preseason number 1 in the country and that same season not even making the tournament? No, that's not even close.
And if you looked at anyone with half a brain, we weren't even projected in preseason bracketology to even be in the damn thing.
Nope.
We weren't preseason ranked 25.
Nope.
We yes, like, should you make the ACC tournament? Absolutely. There's no excuse for that.
Nope.
Only 3 teams don't make it. I mean, your odds are pretty good to get into it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's completely, like, when you're preseason number 1, you should at least make the tournament. I mean, you were number 1 and you dropped past 68.
Right. Yeah, no, exactly. So I don't know, man. But the other thing, though, man, I don't know if you know, man, Lil Wayne came to Chapel Hill, man, and just absolutely just swung the meter, man. I mean, dude, like, if you weren't like just over the moon about UNC football and the future of it, man, guess what? We're going to take it up another level. We're going to bring football superstar Lil Wayne to practice, and then boom, like, watch out.
Oh, sorry, fell asleep there.
I think that's exactly it. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, can we like focus on football for once? If you're UNC, like focus on football. Like, do I like just quote tweet this with the video of the quarterbacks once again, like missing the netting for throwing the football, and
like
just
10 yards out.
Like, which one do we care about more? Like, do we like we should care about the football one way more than we care about Lil Wayne coming to freaking practice? Like, who gives a flip?
Flying flip, yeah.
Who gives a flying flip? Like, just annoying, man. Like, so that's what I'm saying. Like, and see, like, a lot of UNC people saying, "Oh, you're just jealous, man. Oh, you just jealous. You wish that was you." I'm like, no.
How many wins is that going to bring the team this year?
Exactly. How many points is that going to score? Like, who cares?
Whatever.
So again,
I mean, look, good for you, because you have Bill Belichick, who will draw people in because people want to meet Bill Belichick. Like, do you think Lil Wayne can name one player on that team?
Hell no. Hell no.
Lil Wayne was probably more interested in meeting Belichick's girlfriend than he was. Bro. Like, did you see Belichick? He was like, okay, all right, how do we do this? How do we dap up? I don't know.
Hey, Bill, can you sing one of Lil Wayne's songs for me? Yeah. No. Exactly. Come on now.
Yeah. Michelle says it. It's all smoke and mirrors. Again, it's to say, hey, look who we have Come to our football team. We have Little Wayne coming to practice. Who cares?
Who cares?
Like, honestly, look, from everything I know about Little Wayne, which is about this much. If anyone listening, it's about a half an inch. Like, I don't know nothing about Little Wayne.
Yeah.
I don't know how relevant he is in today's world of music. I don't know. He might be still relevant. I couldn't tell you.
Yep. Nope. But again, it's just
we stand on principle.
We stand on principle. That's right. We are a blue collar, hands in the dirt school. Exactly. So now one thing, Greg, and this
hold on. We stand on 4-0. We stand on 4-0. We don't need celebrities to motivate us.
Well, again, you still got to come to our house, man. Like you're acting like this upcoming season is gonna be roses and dandies for you, my man. Like at the end of the day, you still have never coached. What?
I'm sorry. No, I just said I can't wait for the stadium being half empty after he's lost 2 or 3 games. Like once the shine wears off that new penny, and it gets a little corroded.
Yeah,
Carolina will be back to basketball mode. Like
yeah.
But get excited! They actually are putting in natural grass.
Well, and hey, I got to give a shout out for sure. Being I worked, in NC State field crew, I got to give a shout out, man. That finally, thank goodness, like
playing on turf is gross.
It is. It's disgusting. But with that being said, though, speaking of one thing that
what really grinds my gears?
I'm ready.
And that is that?
I'm ready.
Okay. There is a video that has gone viral on social media of the football legend himself, John Gruden, getting a box of a crap ton of NC State stuff.
And bro, stuff that I've never even seen before.
Ton of NC State stuff. And I'm sitting here going, I can't tell if I love this or hate this. Just because of the fact, like, oh my God, like that dude got so much state stuff, man. I'm like, he got more stuff than I have. And I've been a lifelong NC State fan. I was a football equipment manager for 4 years. You've been a lifelong fan. You buy everything that you can almost find. And Greg, in one box, he probably got as much stuff as you, man. Like in one fell swoop, dude.
He doesn't.
No, you sure?
I don't know, man. Bro. I got a whole closet. I know. No.
You see that box?
Bro, I'm not even kidding you when I say I probably, and I'm not even exaggerating, have 200 pieces of NC State shirts. I probably have 200 NC State shirts.
I believe it, but I'm just saying, man, dude. He didn't even get to the bottom of that box. He probably didn't even get halfway through it, but in that video.
He didn't even finish it. Yeah.
Heck no. Like he got vodka, he got Social House vodka, he got
cool.
helmet.
I wish he would have said Savage Wolves. Like he just didn't. He was like Social House vodka. He didn't, because Savage Wolves isn't as big as like you probably should be.
Sure.
But that was legit. I was like, okay, like, but he got stuff that I've never even. Yeah. He's wearing the NC State shirt on the golf course or whatever. That is, taking a walk or. But like, I've never seen that shirt. That's a bad shirt, dude. Like with some camo on it. Like
absolutely.
This is stuff they don't even sell to the general public. He probably had 10 or 15 things they don't even sell, like at Red and White or the bookstore or Fanatics, like stuff that's like exclusive to like the club or the locker room. It is insane.
Yep.
Now, what did you think? What did you think on his history dissertation on players and things that he named about NC State?
I was like, dude, if he came off the top of his head,
right,
like that, like me as a State fan, I'm like, dang, like, I'm sitting here like, man, like, do I need to check myself? Like, if he came up with that off the top of his head, like, man, I need to check myself. But I'm guessing, especially with like a Spud Webb and all that, I'm like,
dude, he went generals,
right? No, that's what I'm saying. Like he didn't just go like the guys, like Bill Cowher, like Philip Rivers, Russell Wilson. Like he went like deep into the bag of NC State.
Webb.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like he went deep into the bag. Like I was sitting there like, man, okay. So yeah, no, I was even if you looked up, I'm still sitting here like, hey, like that was impressive. But if he came off the top of his head, That dude's another level.
The best part was he was trying to say Zach Galifianakis, and he just blah 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 blah.
I mean, you know, that's 90% out there. So
yeah, yeah. I don't know. Like we should maybe like in the summertime talk about like most famous NC State alumni and just kind of see like who would be your Mount Rushmore of NC State alumni, right?
Well, we've talked about that before.
Have we?
I mean, kind of, but not necessarily. I mean, you know, in depth per se.
Right.
But I mean, again, I'm gonna sit on it right now. If Caitlin Tuohy is not on,
well, she's an athlete. I was going non-athlete.
Oh, non-athlete. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say. I was like, I don't care. At the end of the day, if there's an NC State athletics Mount Rushmore, I'm
no,
athletics.
You gotta
have Caitlin Tuohy on it.
Yeah, you would have to.
So okay, all right. Well, let's go right now, real quick. What? Caitlin Tuohy, David Thompson.
Oh, you're talking about athletes
of all time? Caitlin Tuohy, David Thompson. That's got to be your starting two, right?
Yeah, I think Phillip Rivers has to be on there.
Phillip Rivers has to be on there.
Hold on.
And then
who was hold on. I want to pick on Macon since he's not here. Who was the coach that he wanted when we did our draft?
Yeah, that's right. Oh my gosh. And
I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
But that would be the fourth one, especially
yeah.
Choice.
So you'd put yeah. I mean, like I don't know. I mean, I feel like like Phillip Rivers, yeah. Like Torrey Holt is
no. You got to put a coach on there. I would either put.
Well, again, if you're okay, well, if you're doing coaches,
okay. Well, I was thinking athletics in general. You want actual athletes?
Well, here, let's just do athletics for the sake of time. Okay. Athletics. I mean, it's okay if you do one coach.
It's either Sloan or Jimmy V. I think Jimmy V, just because of everything that he means, not only what on the court, but like you have to take the whole resume, like the whole resume, and so. What he's contributed to society, it's kind of hard to beat that.
Well, and in the case K.L., you also could throw into it.
But she didn't win a national championship, but she did win a gold medal. She won gold medals.
Agreed. Yeah, you can't sleep on Everett Case though much either. But I know. I do agree.
He didn't win a national championship, but he basically started the ACC.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I mean, he was dominant in his time.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Oh yeah, he was dominant.
Yeah, see, Michelle's saying Jimmy V.
Yeah, I just think it has to be Jimmy V.
I think you gotta do Jimmy V. He won your national title.
Yeah,
like NC State's not what it is today without Jimmy V. Like yes, I mean you can still make the case for any of these other people, but like what he did on the court plus off the court, like you know, it's unreal.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So real quick though, speaking of all-time legends here, which is why I kind of went into that, you know, kind of side quest a little bit there. Got to give a shout out to one guy in particular who, once again, will never say I am the all-time great, but I mean, just read this stat. The sixth, so for NC State women's basketball, who finished the final season ranking ranked in the AP poll at number 9, this is the 6th top 10 finish of the Westmore era. Westmore has coached 12 seasons at NC State. Yep. Read that again. In his 12 seasons at NC State, he has had 6 top 10 finishes.
Yep.
Like, I'm just saying, yes, he will never let you put him above K.Yao. But man, I mean, man. So
just real quick, how's Ashland doing? Just asking. Just asking.
Man, after that game, I was like, man, State could have played.
Yeah,
not tougher.
Yeah, we could have lost by 29.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we could have lost by 29. Like, yeah, no, we wouldn't have lost that bad. Just almost as bad. But yeah, I mean, listen, like it is.
She's a great coach. I'm not taking anything away. Like she's won multiple national championships. But
sure.
I know that the whole tournament was just like
the whole tournament was weird.
Thought, like women's basketball had gotten parity finally, and none of those Final Four games were close.
And UConn absolutely just
dismantled them.
Just like hey UConn, like you're so like you know you're making UNC, you're making women's basketball look good, and then they just steamroll UCLA and like Lauren Betts and like dude like they were terrible. Like what had like 14 turnovers in the first half. Like oh my God.
It wasn't even
watching
competitive.
paint
I
dry.
honestly, I
Yeah.
watched like a half of each of the games, and I'm like,
It was
yeah,
awful.
I'm done. Like, I
Yeah.
don't have that much that much in me to
Yeah.
do
I
that.
mean,
But
UConn was unstoppable.
yeah,
Unstoppable.
yeah, for sure. Who do you
Yeah.
got tonight before we wrap?
I mean, let's put it this way. In my staff bracket, I had Florida versus Duke in my finals, and if that
They're
would have
close.
happened, I would have won it.
Yep.
So I'm still a little salty. I mean, you got to get Florida, man. Florida's just they've been the best all-around team all season. Now they are down 16-10 right now.
Are they?
So, but I don't know. I'm still gonna say Florida. Like, just I think they deserve it. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's one game, so got to get the job done. But
Is Houston going to finally get that elusive title that's been hanging over their heads for 42 years?
I mean, hey, for their coach, I'll be happy for him, man. That'd be cool. Good for
Yeah,
him.
Kelvin Sampson, North Carolina guy. Like,
Yep.
I'm not mad at that.
No, you can't be.
But again, look, we talked about this real quick. We'll end on this. We talked about the whole Will Wade being corrupt. Look at Kelvin Sampson. Like, he did some stuff. He had the show of cause. He had all of that, and you can come back from these things. So overall, he's a good dude, and I think, everything that I've ever heard about him. So
now, real quick, two things real quick. One thing that was funny was there was a way too early top 25 rankings that came out. They had NC State number 10, which I think is, again, that's why I'm sitting here saying, like, I'm like, okay, yes, like those, like, literally the reasoning starts out with the Isaiah James, Sinai Rivers, Madison Hayes era has come to an end. It's come to an end, but yet you have us number 10. I'm like, okay, like, yes. Will we probably deserve potentially a top 15, top 10 ranking in terms of when we start to figure out, hopefully, some roster moves? Potentially, but like we got to do something. Like we can't go into next season with what we have and what we have coming in, and expect to be a top 10 team next year. Like, no, we definitely need to make some moves in the portal for sure.
Yeah, we need depth. We need some depth. We need some
bigs
depth
badly. But I mean. But hey, listen, I mean, just like it says, though, at the end of the day, you got Zoe Brooks and Zamaria Jones, and then you got Told Trigger and Lorena Owu. So you got the front, you got two good pieces in the front court, two good pieces in the back court. But
the front court has to develop more.
They do have to develop.
I thought, they were pleasant surprises this year, but if they're going to be a focal point, they have to get better. They have to get better. And we have to figure out a way to get rebounds next year, because that hurt us so many times. Like, points in the paint and rebounds hurt us in multiple games, especially in that LSU game. But I trust like that stat that you just showed. 6 of the 12 years in the top 10. Let Wes cook. That seems to be the theme, right? Let these guys keep cooking. And I don't see a reason why he couldn't do it. People slept on us. What was it? Last year, what was it? Last year when we made the Final Four, we weren't even picked in the top 8 in the ACC, so I think if given the opportunity, Wes Moore has more than proven that he can go out and do his thing. And Carson, right there, if you want to read that.
Yeah, so Carson saying they need to get some guards. Best case, you only have 3 returning guards, and the other 2 are freshmen, talented, but you don't want to throw them to the wolves immediately. And and the third returning guard, I'm assuming, being Devin Quigley. I'm assuming. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would definitely say that. And she's shown some flashes this year.
Some flashes.
Yeah.
But again, we'll
Lacey
see.
Steele found a new home. She's at Wisconsin now.
Yep. Happy for her.
Again, for sure.
It just
didn't work out.
Nope, didn't work out. But no, hey, she's friend of the show. Had her on actually, and and excited for her. Happy for her for sure. So, but to really wrap it up here, Greg, got to give a shout out to one sport in particular that
men's tennis.
Always. Yep, you got it.
I knew it. I knew you were going.
You got it.
Yeah.
So I mean, just amazing. First of all, job here by this coaching staff and this men's tennis team being ranked in the top 5 right now. But also as well, shout out to Wolfpack Nation, man. I mean, I'm sure you see it right there, Greg. But I mean,
there was a lot of people over there.
Like look at that.
Yeah.
Like that is a turnout right there for a men's tennis match there. So
standing room only.
standing room only. Like, love to see it. So,
Yeah.
like, again, the stock of NC State men's tennis is going up, and as you see right there, man, we'll be facing #1 Wake Forest here on Saturday at 5 p.m. for the ACC regular season title. And I mean, in men's tennis, ACC men's tennis is no joke.
No.
Especially once you added Cal and Stanford and SMU. I mean, like, they're like ACC men's tennis is no joke. So to get an ACC regular season title, like, that is a humongous accomplishment.
Yeah, I think there's 8 teams in the top 25 for tennis in the ACC. Also, I know you don't have it here, but they're giving away Hal towels or rally towels on Saturday to the first 250 people that come out to the tennis. Hopefully, state baseball plays at 3, so maybe we can get like a 2-hour game, go crush them, and then I'll roll over to tennis and cheer those guys on. But yeah, it'll be an exciting weekend for sure. So hopefully they go out and get it done. Hopefully it's it's weird because we had what's Brian's last name? Roth. You know what I'm talking about? Tennis guy we've had on, Brian.
Oh, Brian Rosenthal.
Yeah, when we've had him on, college tennis is not like pro tennis where you can get a little rowdy during the match.
Right.
And so go out there and make some noise, and it's gonna be a little cool. So dress warm if you go. Weather should be okay. No excuses for pollen because it's supposed to rain on Friday, so it'll wash all that pollen away. So let's get as many people out there as we can and cheer on our guys to an ACC regular season championship.
That's right. So with that being said, Wolfpack Nation, again, really appreciate everybody tuning in. First and foremost, again, this is always such a fun time for sure, talking all things NC State athletics. Got a huge game hopefully tomorrow against ECU, assuming the weather hopefully holds out. Weekend baseball series versus Louisville. Obviously stay tuned for hopefully some big moves here in the next couple of weeks here for men's basketball, and then maybe some moves as well from the women's side. But either way, y'all, again, men's tennis versus #1 Wake Forest here on Saturday, 5 p.m. Make sure to go support them. Let's get this ACC regular season title. Let's get things done. And again, let's hopefully see some trampoline effect here taking place for NC State baseball. But as always, y'all, for us, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. If you do us a big favor, hit that like button as well if you enjoyed this, and also to leave us a 5-star review if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to us. Leave us a 5-star review. Greatly appreciate that. And give us a follow at Tuffy Talk Now on Twitter and Instagram. With that being said, y'all, we appreciate y'all. And as always, go Pack, y'all.